Tonight on Mixed Media, our show is devoted to teaching through the arts. Joining us is Executive Director of the Collaborative for Teaching and Learning, Linda Hargan. We'll visit with Claudia Ronaldson of U of L's Department of Expressive Therapies. Take a look at the New Opportunity School, which helps promote self-discovery through the arts. And we'll hear the jazz sounds of the Mike Tracy Quartet. All this and more next on Mixed Media. Hi everybody, I'm Scott Dowd. Welcome again to Mixed Media, coming to you from the KET2 studios here in Louisville. Well, every once in a while we like to put together a theme program for you, and tonight we're going to be talking about arts and education. Linda Hargan is here. She is the Executive Director for the Collaborative for Teaching and Learning. We'll also be talking about U of L's Expressive Therapies program, and we're going to start things off tonight with the Mike Tracy Quartet, and they're performing A Song for My Father. More music from the Mike Tracy Quartet coming up later in the program, and we'll talk to Mike about Jazz Week 2001. Our theme tonight is arts in education, how we use art to educate and the importance of arts in education. And Mike Tracy is with me. Thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you.
Now, Mike, of course, you've been in music education
That's
for
right.
a number of years, and we're getting ready for Jazz Week 2001. Before we talk too much about that, though, wanted to get you to introduce the rest of the band. Of course, we're glad to have Tyrone Wheeler back.
Tyrone, he's a mainstay of everybody in town.
He is getting to be a regular on the show.
That's what I hear.
But why don't you introduce the other two members of the quartet?
On piano, we had Renato Vasconcellos from Brasilia.
Okay.
We're very fortunate to have Renato here in town. And then on drums, Jason Tiemann.
Okay. And are they participating in Jazz Week 2001?
Well, Renato's a student at school, so he'll be playing with all the guest artists coming in, and Tyrone would be backing up a number of them, and Jason comes in and out different times, so yes, they'll be involved in different ways.
And that's coming up the week of February 18th, right?
That's correct.
And tell me a little bit about the format for people who haven't been involved before.
Well, the whole idea is to promote jazz and music education at the School of Music, and we're bringing in the masters of the music. For recently, we had the Ken Burns Show.
Right.
We're having McCoy Tyner. He's one of the major artists on piano. He's our opening night at the school, but we have Harry Pickens at St. Stephen's Church the day before, which is really exciting. Harry's an incredible player with their choir. And then we're finishing the week with Curtis Fuller, who played with John Coltrane, and the last night is Phil Woods, another major artist. And then all during the week we have clinics and opportunities for people to listen to music.
Now, for non-musicians, people who, aren't going in there to get a master class on
Right.
saxophone,
Sure.
what's in it for them?
Well, first off, they get to see the legends. They get to hear people actually play. Also, there's a person, an Asian American pianist, John Yang, and a Brazilian sax quartet coming. So they're going to hear music of other cultures as well as our own jazz intermixed with theirs. And it's an opportunity to see a lot of young people play and to hear people talk about the music.
Now, that's interesting. Is jazz changing as it becomes, because it started in America.
Of course.
And it was sort of an American tradition and came from the American music. But as it moves to Brazil, as it moves to Asia, is it changing?
Oh, of course. It's world music now, and it's the idea is improvisation. Jazz is the language of American folk music, and it's being adapted to other cultures as well. And it's just one more extension of what we do.
Yeah, I think one of the first major trends that direction was probably klezmer, which is one of my favorites, when they added the Yiddish and Jewish folk music to it.
Well, this is just one more way of expressing yourselves, and every time, like TV or the internet or CDs, making the world a smaller and smaller place for everything, music is part of it as well, and music is a universal language.
Yeah. Now, how can people get more information about Jazz Week?
They need to call the School of Music office at 852-6907. And we'll get them all the information that they need.
Great. Now, tell me a little bit about Facets, because I understand that this is your first CD, but
Correct.
You're working on another one.
Right, we're working on one that has some Brazilian music in, and we're, like I said, with Renato being here, we're going to use his resources and all his expertise to help do that. But this first CD was one that melted classical music and jazz music in different ways. And I'm really excited about it. It has an orchestra and has unaccompanied things, so it's a little different.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this when we were doing our jazz special, but it's really kind of neat that there's even jazz education at this point, because there didn't used to be. That was kind of anathema to jazz at first.
Right, people just would learn on the job, kind of like, or hang out and just be with a master teacher. And that's kind of what we're doing now, but it's a matter of doing it more in a structured setting and letting people know that everybody has a chance to improvise. We may not all be a McCoy Tyner or a Phil Woods, but we all can express ourselves, and that's what it's all about.
Mike, thanks for coming.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. And I'll let you go ahead and get set up for the next piece. And while you're doing that, I will remind people that Jazz Week 2001 is coming up the week of February 18th through the 24th at the University of Louisville. And if you want more information, you can call the School of Music. Now, here's the Mike Tracy Quartet, and they're performing some music of Miles Davis. This is 4. And we'd like to thank the Mike Tracy Quartet for being here, as well as our other guests. Hope that you've enjoyed this exploration of the arts and education and their cooperative ventures. Of course, the arts very important to all of us, and I hope that you will take advantage of all of the opportunities here in Kentucky and Southern Indiana. Go out, enjoy the arts, take a young person with you and introduce them. I'm Scott Dowd, and we'll see you next Tuesday night here on Mixed Media.